another episode. Welcome to Revelations, the biggest, the highest African spiritual platform. We are the mother of all spiritual platform. My name is Hadassah Empress Makida Labraska, the sun goddess. You can also call me Jezebel. I respond to all these names. It's another great episode. We are going to have a serious topic. Religion is destroying Africa. Both Islam and Christianity is idolatry. That's what we are going to discuss. Let's welcome our brother on set. I welcome you to Revelations.
Thank you, madam.
Okay, so in 1 minute, I want you to introduce yourself to us, mention your name and introduce yourself to us and tell us why you are here.
Yeah, my full name is SEIDU LATIF, but the endeavor I am into, you can call me Nana Prodi.
Nana Prodi?
Yes, please.
SEIDU what?
ABDUL Latif.
SEIDU ABDUL Latif.
Yes.
Now from Honoma Prekwan to Nana Prodi?
Yes, we were born into Islam, so we're given these names.
Okay.
And at the right time, we will have to abolish all these foreign names and go back to our
And
roots.
go back. So when you went back, you saw Prodi. What's the meaning of Prodi?
Let's talk about that later.
We should talk about, because the first name is nicer than Prodi.
Yeah.
And I'm Yale. Anyway, so let's welcome our guest. And then, Officer, what are you going to talk about today?
I want to talk about religion, how our oppressors are using their religions to destroy Africa. So we'll talk about where religion actually started.
Okay.
The Christianity and Islam, their roots, where they come from. And then there's a cabal in these two religions to keep we black people in servitude, in slavery, till the end of time. And we thank God that this is the age of awakening and more information are popping up.
Okay, so let's start from Islam.
Yeah.
You said your topic is religion is destroying Africa. Both Islam and Christianity is idolatry.
Yeah, they are idolatry.
This is a serious topic.
Yes.
Copied
from African spirituality.
They copied Islam and Christianity from African
spirituality.
What are your bases? What's your source?
Let me quote this man,
Okay.
Emperor Haile Selassie.
Okay.
He was talking about spirituality and religion.
Okay.
You know, we are made to demonize spirituality, but they are grossly diving into it. And that's what they're using to manufacture everything that we see. So they don't want us to also get that power to manufacture. So they said we are God's children. We fear God the most. So they should pass through religion and tell us that Allah abhors spirituality. So we shouldn't dive into spirituality as Muslims. Then through Christianity, they told our Christian brothers and sisters that our idols and fetishism and what have you are blasphemous. So she threw them away. But they are grossly engaged in them. And they are hiding the practice of spirituality, their practice of spirituality from us. So this is what Emperor Haile Selassie has to say about religion and spirituality, and I quote, "Spirituality doesn't come from religion. It comes from our soul. We must stop confusing religion with spirituality. Religion is a set of rules, regulations, and rituals created by humans, which was supposed to help people grow spiritually. But due to human imperfection, religion has become corrupted, political, divisive, and a tool for power struggle. Spirituality is not theology or ideology. It is simply a way of life, pure and original as given by the Most High of creation. Spirituality is a network linking us to the Most High, the universe, and each other." Unquote. Emperor Haile Selassie. He is basically telling us that religion was invented by our forefathers in Africa here to help people grow spiritually. And also, it was used as a psychological tool to to create some kind of fear in people so that they don't commit sins and do other things that will give them serious repercussions later. And the third aspect of religion was to amass wealth, to develop the empires and the states, and also to protect the people. So religion actually is a psychological endeavor, enterprise. When I say psychological enterprise, I mean they can create some sort of lies to achieve an end. For instance, they will tell you, if you fornicate, the Creator will put you in hellfire. For no matter, you abstain from fornication. That hellfire is not true, but it's just to put some fear in you. And they tell you when you cheat your colleague, when you steal, the Creator will burn you in hellfire and blah, blah, blah. So our forefathers invented this. It's a psychological enterprise. But when these white people stepped foot on this planet, that was when everything went ballistic. They usurped this enterprise, and they are using it to achieve their objective at the expense of their faithfuls. So 5,000 years before any Christ was born, that is BC, there was a pharaoh called Pharaoh Akhenaten. That name is the Twi translation in English. The actual name is Pharaoh Akhenaten. And this pharaoh is noted to be the one who united the Upper Egypt and the Lower Egypt, that is the whole of Africa. And this pharaoh actually had a covenant with two powerful Egyptian gods, two of them, Amun and Ra. So he created a name, Amun-Ra. And then when you create a religion, you coerce everybody in that state into that religion. You know, when you don't bring that kind of cohesion, everybody will be worshiping the spiritual beings haphazardly, and others will use the spiritual beings to cause harm to others. So you have to make laws and regulate spirituality in that country. So he coerced everybody into that religion. And they were worshiping Amun-Ra as their creator. And when you create this religion, you should deceive your faithful that that idol or spirit that they are going to worship is the creator. So it's a psychological tool. The populace will not know that it is not true. It is a form of lies. They would worship that idol, your idol, as the creator. And you know, these spiritual beings, some of them, we have them in ranks. I'm not a spiritualist, but I have done scientific research in spirituality. We have those who are the national gods. They are the powerful kings in their worlds or their realms. So when, according to Greek mythologies, when more people are worshiping these spirits, they become powerful in their realms. Then they can bless you. So when they bless you, you can amass wealth. And when such a person like a king is a good king, he will use the wealth to take care of everybody in that state, empire, or in today's world, country or continent. So when you go to China, they have one religion, one God, and they are worshiping that God. And the benefit thereof is used to develop their country. When you go to Japan, they have one religion, and they are worshiping Kami through Shintoism. So when you ask the Japanese, he will tell you Kami is their creator. But that secret is being kept from them. The leaders of the country will be in possession of that secret. When you go to Arabia, they've entered into the covenant with Allah, and they have coerced the whole of Arabia to worship that Allah. This was done by one King Saud. He fought the other tribes and then composed them into a country called Saudi Arabia. Saudi Arabia did not exist during the Prophet's time. We had Mecca and Medina. Those days we had states and empires. So when you are powerful, a powerful king, you have legions of army, you can transcend other continents and countries, conquer them, coerce them to worship that idol, and you will take the benefit. And that is exactly what they did to us. So if you look at Islam and Christianity geographically on the African continent, it is a straight line that is dividing Africa into two equal parts. The northern part of Africa being predominantly Muslims and the southern part being predominantly Christian. This is not natural. Because if Islam was to invade Africa, it would have come through the east from Saudi Arabia. And if Christianity, which originates from Italy, Rome, was to invade Africa, it would have come through the north. But it's rather the opposite. So that means this was deliberate. This was a deliberate attempt. So all Muslims, including me in Africa, we are worshiping the Arabian God. And all Christians in Africa are worshiping the European God, who is Jesus. The Arabian God is Allah, and the European God is Jesus. Most Chinese and other foreigners have been blaming Africans for neglecting our land's gods and worshiping other people's gods. And some of us have come across these lamentations, and we didn't know what they were talking about till we tried to delve into spirituality. And we realized that they are speaking the truth. And the fact is, when you go to Deuteronomy 32, verse 7 to 19, that the Creator divided the lands and the people into races and apportioned them to the national gods. And what Israel got was Israel. So Yahweh is the God of Israel. That's why they call him the God of Israel. So when they create a religion like Judaism, they will tell the Jews that Yahweh is their creator, the creator of the universe, but that's not true. And any other land has got its national gods.
So what were we supposed to worship as Ghanaians or Africans?
When you go to Egyptian mythologies, we have the creator god Nut and his wife, Ptah and his wife Nut. They gave birth to 6 children. The first one was Horus. We have 2 Horus, the uncle Horus and the niece Horus. We have Set. We have Tefnut. We have Set. That Set is what became Satan in their religions. And then we have, there were 7. And Horus, being the eldest son, was powerful one time. Then Set managed to kill him and took over. Then Set, who is also powerful, a powerful lady, a goddess, resurrected Horus. And this Set gave birth to a son called Horus. She also named that son Horus. In Twi, we call that Set Yah. Our forefathers call her Yah. But they didn't address them by their real names. They gave them titles. So they call her Asasiya. It is this same woman who the Romans regarded as Mary, giving birth to, through a virgin birth, Jesus, something like, and her husband. So that formed the Trinity. Her husband, Ausar, Ashanti people call him Yao Osei. And his title was Osoro Sorohene. So when they say Osoro Buanya or Buano, they are trying to tell you that time they were worshiping Yao Osei as their God. So before you can receive help from the Creator, that God who they will present you as your Creator, you must also help yourself. I'm coming from North. We going to just call him Jakubu. So anytime there's an eclipse, we take sticks and plates and other metal materials will be drumming, then we'll be singing. Jacobo, you want to collapse our country. You want to bring judgment day now, so leave us alone. This Jacobo is what became Yehovah, Jehovah, and Yahweh. So our forefathers, so let me complete the Pharaoh Akhenaten's story. So he created that sort of monotheism. He combined two gods' names, Amun, Ra. Amun was very powerful. You know, these gods, they are like we, as the Bible says, as above, as below. Human beings will rise, human beings will fall. That's how the gods, the spiritual way it is. Amun at the time was the most powerful god. So when you want to create a religion, you have to do research and find out that particular time which of the spirit is the most powerful one. And at times you can combine them, 2 or 3. So he created monotheism even before any Abraham was born. And they worship that deity as their creator God. And they even named their children after Amun. When Muslims and Christians pray, they say Amen. That is their name. Ancient Arabia called God Imani. Libya, Syria, they also call him Iman. And we name our children after Amun, and the name was Memuna, Muna, Ama, Amama, Amina. That was the Amun's name. You know, all our names, all our original names are names of gods. So even the 99 names of Allah are names of gods, but they didn't tell us the truth. So Egypt ruled the world. You know, Africa ruled the world for millions of years. Then the Greeks came and studied our spirituality and realized that if you want to create a religion, you have to get 2 powerful or 3 spirits, then have a covenant with them. Then you have to, they will support you to conquer a lot of people into their religion. So they'll be worshiping them, and then you will take the blessings. So the Greeks also created their gods, like Zeus and what have you. But they did not create a religion. So the Romans, so it was the Greek who conquered Africa. When they got the secret, so most African spiritualists are saying these spirits, they are in Chile, say, means they are looking for customers. If I am offering...
The spirits are looking for customers?
Yes.
What are they selling?
If I am offering chicken to them, and you choose to offer ram, they will desert me and come to you. Oh, okay. And if another person chooses to offer a bull, then the person will take them. So the Greeks went and offered their people, human beings too, these spirits.
Human beings?
Yes, they sacrificed them. If you watch their movies, you see human sacrifices. So they took over our gods, and some of them are gods of war, this Yahweh. So they helped the Greeks to come and conquer us. And when they conquered Africa, it was Alexander the Great who led the last invasion in Africa. He conquered Egypt. So they stole our manuscripts, our
the scrolls and what
and everything. They took it away. So there was confusion among the Greeks, and one of them left Greece and went to Rome. At that time, Rome was not even an empire. So he went and also taught them how the Greeks went to Egypt and learned how we have kings and those things. So they also formed an empire, sent spies, people to also study under the Greeks. And when they got the secret, they also created their religion and went and conquered the Greeks and stole those scrolls again. So we have about 5 miles of documents hidden in the Vatican. Nobody knows what is contained in those documents. They're stolen from Egypt. So they studied this document and they created Christianity. That is 325 years after the death of any Jesus. It is
after the death of...
there was nobody called Jesus. Nobody was born.
Just mention the name you mentioned.
Yeah, Anno Domini. The AD means Anno Domini. That's the year of our Lord. You know, when it was our forefather who invented everything.
You said after the death of somebody.
Of any Jesus who was born. There was no any Jesus born.
But you said any Jesus who was born.
Yeah, well, at time when we speak, we want to speak the language that you know before we would redirect you to the truth.
So say the truth. Don't.
The truth is that the year that they said Jesus was dead and they started counting 1, 2 up to 3, is actually it's called Anno Domini, the year of our Lord. When they conquered Africa, they changed the calendar. It's our forefathers, our ancestors, who invented the calendar.
So they changed the calendar to the.
And they gave themselves 1,000 years. They thought after 1,000 years the world would have gone to an end. So the 1,000 years ended. Then they gave another 1,000 years. Then they realized that no, the world will not go to an end now. So they started from 0. Hope you understand.
They started from 0.
From 0 up to date. So that year where they started from 0, they told us that that was the year that supposed Jesus Christ died. No, but that is when they realized that no, we have to start from 0. So that is the Anno Domini. So they regarded that year as the year of their Lord. So they started counting from 1 up to. So from 1 up to 325 years from that particular moment, that Constantine created Christianity.
Constantine?
Yeah. He was an emperor of Rome. When they conquered the Greek and took the manuscript, they studied it and then they created Christianity. And you realize that the Christian God is different from the Jewish God, because the Old Testament God is Yahweh and he's the God of Israel. But we have another God here saying he's Jesus. He walked the face of this earth, died, and now he's God. And these people who are telling us these things are the Romans. Meanwhile, that person who is supposed to be in Israel, or that person who is supposed to be, was born in Israel.
That person, who is that person?
So, people have been born on this earth of virgin births. People have come and done a lot of miracles. And so, according to another school of thought, there was somebody called Yeshua in Israel. He was not born of virgin birth. He only spoke the truth. And he might have done some miracles. So they used this person to deceive their followers that that person was a God who worked this. But he's not the only person. A lot of people did miracles. So Constantine went into a covenant with two gods, a goddess and a god. That is Asasiya, who is in English called Isis. In Egypt, she was called Alset. But when the Greeks conquered us, they changed her name into Isis. And when it got to Rome, they also changed the name to Isos. Because if you don't change the name, the spirit will not identify you. So when you conjure the spirit, you have to give the spirit your name. So somebody who is mischievous, who wants to teach you how to conjure the spirit, will not disclose this secret to you. Then the person will tell you that spirit is called this, like Allah. So anything you do in the name of that Allah, the spirit will bless that person. Anybody who gave that spirit the name Allah.
You mentioned it, you become a slave to that person,
Good.
and that spirit become powerful for that person.
But,
who gave it that name?
You gave him that name.
Because you are calling that name in the
through
person's name.
Go, you are calling the spirit through the person. That is why when in 2006, when Ghana was preparing to face Italy, Christians said their followers should pray, Muslims should pray and fast and what have you. Alhaji Gurusa said that before Christians' prayers will get to Italy, their prayers have already gotten up. It was proverbial. If you know these secrets, it's enough of signing your death warrant. A lot of people know this secret, but they don't want to say it.
Why?
Alhaji Gurusa was indirectly telling us that we are worshiping the same spirit through some people. So our prayers have to go there before it will get to that spirit. And if the spirit wants to bless that person. It starts
from there.
So we all Muslims on the African continent who are slaughtering livestock or animals in the name of Allah are actually doing that for the Arabians. Hey, that is why they don't do anything in that country. They don't work, but they are living in all places. Don't you see how poor we are?
Oh!
So when you leave your land's gods and you're worshiping other people's gods, they can't bless you because your forefathers didn't have a covenant with them.
Hold on. But you are saying that this same spirit, Asasiya,
Yeah.
we have it, that same spirit is...
They are universal.
So...
But when, in the beginning of time, the Creator divided the lands and apportioned it to each of them. And according to spirituality, Ghana's own is Asasiya.
Now if Asasiya and they are
So the Romans have taken her.
So we don't have her anymore.
I want to explain, let me explain that. Unless we also take her back.
How do we take her back?
Good.
Tell me.
So we'll get there.
No. Let's talk about that now.
I'm not a spiritual person. Unless the spiritual people come and explain how to. The best way to take her back is to ban all foreign religions. That is what Rwanda did. And today Rwanda is now like heaven.
Hey, Abusia.
That's the secret. That's what Rwanda did. Paul Kagame came and closed all churches and mosques.
Abusia, obi a o say yen o ye spiritual, o say on ye spiritual person, shense mo okeka. Obi a ye spiritual person, obeboa me ama makofa asase ya aba. Oh, how did they take it?
I told you that if you are, our forefathers did not rely much on the spirits because they could do much of the things. It's only when it got tougher that they call on them. So they only offered livestock, animals to them. They didn't offer.
Those people were offering human beings.
When they studied and saw the secret, they went and offered their people to them, and they took over them. So they gave them the power, and they came and conquered us. So unless we discover the truth, that's why a lot of people are saying this is the age of awakening. We'll ban Islam and Christianity in this country.
You said you were a Muslim.
Yes.
We should ban your own people.
Speaking the truth against your own religion has nothing to do with atheism or evil, because your religion could be false religion, or it could be indoctrinated, or the people in the religion could be led astray, if only what you are saying is the truth.
So we should ban them and do what? We
should close all churches and mosques, and then we can even turn them into factories and what have you. Then we should change all our names back to our ancestors. The very person who enslaved your ancestor, your forefather, is the same person who came and taught you your religion and your concept of God. Do you think the person will tell you the truth? Yes. These Arabians were those who enslaved our forefathers. They even castrated them. And it's these same people who came and they taught us our concept of God. And they are telling us Allah is the creator. That is what they are supposed to do. So when they brought Christianity to Africa, our forefathers knew the secret. They told them, you are not those to teach us who God is. We knew God before you. The white people didn't know anything. So they gave them order to war with them, conquer them, and coerce them into the religion. So Constantine had a covenant with Asasiya and his son.
Constantine?
Yes. So Asasiya's name became Isis in Greek and Asos in Latin, that is Rome. Then Horus, here, some people call him Zeus. The white people call him Hero. So the name Hero is originating from Horus because he did a lot of miracles. And it is this Horus who, according to Egyptian mythologies, who was born of virgin birth, who died and resurrected because her mother could resurrect, who died and resurrected, who was crucified. So that Jesus story was copied from Egypt.
So Jesus, what was Jesus?
Jesus, there was nobody called Jesus.
Hi!
The Jesus they are trying, the word Christ originated from Egypt, which is Karast. And the Karast stands for 3 concepts. 1, somebody who speaks the truth. And before you can speak the truth, you should be intellectually intelligent and highly educated. You do research. So when you see the truth, you don't fear anybody. So you speak against even people in authority. Then you are a Christ. That's why they say you are a savior, a Messiah. You don't fear anybody. You speak the truth even against you. And you don't discriminate. That's the first concept. The second concept is that we have the spiritual Christ. Everybody has that spirit in them. So when you study and you become conscious, you can take your spirit out of your body and travel across. Those people are also, they've attained the level of Christ. So that Yeshua might have attained that level.
And the third one is?
And the third one is the Jesus they are talking about. We want to explain that Jesus. So Yeshua is different from Jesus.
Explain.
Yeshua might have been the person who was born in Israel, who might have attained that level.
Is Yeshua the same as Never Bendoza?
You see, this Horus mythology has been copied by a lot of cultures using their own names. When you go to Greek, they have Dionysus. And they said he was also born of virgin birth and blah, blah, blah. When you go to Asian, Iran, Iraq, Persia, they have Mithra. And they said he was also born of virgin birth, and he went around, was teaching people, and he has 12 disciples, and what. So the Romans combine everything.
And they link all these people to the Son.
Good, the Son God. So the Son of Man is not S-O-N, it's S-U-N. So anytime you see Jesus' picture, you see a halo on his head. That is the Son. It all originated from Egyptian mythologies. Some of the gods were the rulers of the skies. This Asasia is, according to Egyptian mythology, she is the queen of the underworld. And she gives a bumper harvest, a fertile land. And she's very powerful. That is what we have learned. So the Constantine acquired this knowledge and thought of creating a religion to amass wealth. So he might have gone into a covenant with the two. So Asasia or Isis became Isos in Latin, and Horus became Hero in English. And in the olden days, they didn't have the letter J. So the actual, this one was Jeru. So Jeru, they took the J from the Jeru and took the source from the Isos and combined them to make Jesus. That's
all the two energies.
That's somebody, a goddess and her son. Just like what Pharaoh Akhenaten did with Amun-Ra. And that is where the treaty is from. So they added Asasiya's husband, Jehovah or Yahweh or so, and they got Trinity. So when you see Jesus' mother holding Jesus and Joseph standing behind, they copied it from Egyptian methodologies. When you study Egyptian myths, you will see outside holding Horus and outside standing by him. Osir is also called Osiris. So that's where they copy. So it is our idolatry. Our spirituality. They repackaged and brought it back to us.
Now what about the Islam? Almost all repackaging.
Islam, we have two Islams. You see, African words or names coincide with Arabian words because it was black people who created the Arabian language in Sudan. So when you go to Sudan, they will tell you they are the original Arabians. And even the Arabians at Saudi Arabia right now, they were black people. It is the Romans who went and conquered them and took over that land. They saw that they have to conquer Africa and they have to conquer black people, our spiritual stronghold, which was Egypt, Ethiopia, Arabia, and Israel. But they couldn't conquer Ethiopia. So the Ark of Covenant that they speak about in Moses, in Deuteronomy, whatever, is in Ethiopia right now. So everything in the Quran, in the Bible, is talking about black people. But they've hidden this truth from us. So the Romans, after creating Christianity and spreaded it through war and conquest. So when they conquered our forefathers and coerced them into Christianity, they saw that they were not practicing it wholeheartedly because they knew the truth. So they said, okay, take their children, build mission houses, take them there, teach them only the Bible, what we have asked you to go and teach them. So whatever pastors preach from head to toe is not in the Bible. Anything a pastor preaches is not in the Bible.
Those days or now?
Today, now, everything a malam is preaching is not in the Quran.
What are you talking about? We go there to the
Let
church.
me give you a proof. You take an illiterate or a small boy who cannot read and write, then force that boy to memorize an Arabian language book into the head, then you teach that boy the meaning of that. Then the person will grow up, quote from the Quran in Arabian language, explain the meaning in his language. Meanwhile, he does not understand Arabic language. So whatever he's saying, whether it is true or not, he does not know.
Hey!
Yes.
This is serious.
You are in this country, and I'm sure you have come closer with Muslims. 90% of our Malams are illiterate. They can't even read nor write in their own native language, not to talk of English or Arabic. But they quote from Arabic, and they explain the meaning to us. Meanwhile, when you give them Arabian newspaper in Arabic, they can't read and tell you the story. When they listen to TV programs from Arabia and they're talking about politics, they can't tell what they're talking
And so it's
about.
the same language.
Yes. But we have pastors here who are illiterate. They can't read in Twi, neither in English. But they are pastors. What are they preaching for?
They are reading for them and they are translating in their language.
You don't understand.
Hey, we are the biggest. This is a revelation. Please make a quote out of this for me. What?
So no single pastor.
This is deep. This is deep.
No single pastor on the African continent is preaching from the Quran. And no single madam on the African continent is preaching. No single no single pastor is preaching from the Bible. Even the whole world, because there's nothing in Christianity that is in the Bible. Christianity, in the Bible, they say the women should cover their heads. Do they cover their heads? They say women shouldn't speak in the churches. They sing drum. We have women pastors. They say God told Moses, move your sandals. Where you are standing is holy. You are in the holy place and wearing your sandals. Everything about Christianity.
Name them.
Yes. Everything about Christianity is not in the Bible. The name Bible is not in the Bible itself.
Huh?
From Genesis to Revelation, Bible is not in the Bible itself. Because
and I will be who's a Holy Bible now. What? Who be a first page? You know who Bible?
Oh, be natural way now. What try title Holy Bible, but in similar way, the but being who I bought Bible didn't say Yahweh can say more far Bible way. Na mun sum. And so I will need a pastor or a malam to come here and debate me. Muslim and Christian scholars, let them come. There's nowhere in the Bible that you see the name Bible. The Bible etymologically is from the Greek word biblios, which means little books. So when Constantine was creating Christianity, when you want to create a religion, you must get a prophet and lie to the people that the Creator sent that prophet, his message through that prophet to you. And you must get a scripture, a book. I hope you understand. So Constantine needed a scripture. So he took the Jewish books, Zabur, Torah, and what have you, and brought Greek philosophers at that time. Greeks were the most civilized during that time, after they came and learned civilization from Africa. Africa brought secular education. We invented reading and writing. We invented mathematics, alphabets, everything. So we were leading civilization. When the Greeks came and learned, the conquerors, and they took over the world. So their language was the widely spoken one. And they had philosophers. So Constantine called them, told them they should combine all the books, the old ones. Good, the old ones. After the death of Jesus, or Yeshua, or anything like that, they said, anybody who saw what Jesus did or said should write and come. So people wrote their books. And then they gathered all these books and they say, take this one out, take this one out, take this one. So they took what they wanted and compiled those ones to form the New Testament. So there was nothing called New Testament during Jesus' time. There was nothing called Bible during Jesus' time. So even if that Jesus should come, but if you call him Jesus, he will not know that you are calling him because there was no baby who was named Jesus after his birth.
Hey!
No baby. Because they told us that Jesus, the etymology of the name Jesus is from Yahshua. Yahshua became Joshua. Joshua became Jesus, blah, 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 and now Jesus. Names don't transform when they are crossing.
What about Muhammad?
Muhammad, as a Twi person, I call him Muhammad. English Muhammad, everywhere Muhammad. But I'll come there. So they form a book Bible. They edited. Constantine, after inviting them, confined them in a structure with his soldiers surrounding them. They didn't even go out to defecate or pass out. They did everything inside there. So they coerced them to translate the Bible to suit their agenda. They wanted to create a God. So they have to take somebody and say that person who came was God. So the person is dead, he's gone, and he has come back. So they want the world to worship Asasia and her son. But when you say that, people will not worship them because they know they are idols. So they are God who came. So they merged the two names, Jesus and Yeshua. That is that guy who was God. How should somebody come and walk the face of this and die and become God again? If you compare the size of this earth to this universe, the size of this earth is like air particles. As I'm telling you, some of us are delving into science, archaeology, history. History is in two forms. We have the history the white people are presented to us. We have the kinetic
The
history.
real ones.
Yes. Then finance, then theology, then scientific spirituality. So when we speak, you think that we are prophets. So I could be a Christ because the knowledge I have gathered. So I could be a Christian. So if I say I'm a Christian, that doesn't mean. So we have two forms of Christians. The false religion, which they've converted a lot of people into it. So you are just there wasting your time. You raise your hand to pray to a false God. You are praying to nobody. But they do the practicality over there in the Catholic Church, the Vatican. So right now, as I speak, the Vatican, which constitutes about 802 people in the 2020 population census, that year, 802 people, with a land mass of 0.2 square kilometers, is richer than the whole of African continent. And it is the richest single entity in the whole world, second to only the United States government. They have assets worth over $10 trillion. Because when they opened the churches worldwide, when the tithes were coming, they didn't spend them, they invested them. And they also do the practicality over there to get what they want. And they told you should raise up your hands and pray. So we have prayed up to date, we've got nothing. And we are not even asking ourselves, is it these people, haven't they lied to us? So when they saw that religion was fetching them a lot of money, they excluded themselves from the country Italy. Even Vatican is a suburb of Rome. Even Accra, Kaneshi is bigger than the Vatican.
Accra, Kaneshi?
Yes, it's bigger than the Vatican. So when they saw that Christianity was fetching them a lot of money, they said they are a sovereign state. So they built a wall around them. And if you want to move from Rome into the Vatican, you must go and acquire a visa. And they invested the money. And now they are super rich. And they don't even care about African Christians who are wallowing in poverty. They don't dig gold, diamond, bauxite, nothing, no mineral resources in Italy, no crude oil. How come that a small suburb is richer than the whole of African continent? Through religion. So our forefathers invented religion. You go into a covenant with some powerful gods, coerce your empire's people to worship that God. Then the benefit will come, and then you use it to take care of the people. But these people came, and they are. So anybody who creates a religion, that person and their children, their children's children, and their descendants will live in comfort, luxury. They'll be enjoying lives on this earth till the end of time. And you, the convert, will be wallowing in poverty. They will come and tell you when you die, you go to some false heaven.
Some what?
False heaven. Whilst they are living in heaven here. So when the Vatican the Catholic Church was amassing wealth. Others came to realize it. Britain and America saw that there was something secret they were keeping from them. So they also severed themselves and formed the Anglican Church, English American Church. Then that was when other people started creating. So that is why we have several denominations in Christianity and several sects in Islam.
All because of business.
Business.
You are watching Revelations.
So the Arabians, the SEIDU monarch is richer than the whole of African continent. But he's not even helping we, the poor Muslims in this country. And every year, we still send money to them in the form of pilgrimage. And they are taking. Saudi gets about $120 billion every year out of pilgrimage. We have Hajj and we have Umrah. So we Muslims in Ghana are the poorest in this country, but we still send money to these people. When I was telling my people, they got angry, so I kept quiet. And I told them, let's worship, wallow in poverty, and die. We'll go to heaven. When you are revealing this secret, they told us that anybody who apostatizes, if you renounce Islam, they should kill you. Anybody who speaks against that religion should kill you. When you finish, you come and tell me you are God's children.
You are watching Revelations. So what about Muhammad? I want to know.
Good. So when the Romans created Christianity and saw that there was enormous wealth in religion, years back, about 1,000 years later, they went to Arabia and created Islam. Islam was already in Africa, but it was not a religion, it was a way of life. So if you look at Christianity, their creeds, tenets, and everything, practices, it's just African custom and tradition. When you look at Islam, everything is just Africa, because in Islam, we forbid fornication. In the olden days, Mala Isa said, when a girl becomes pregnant before marriage, they will search for their partner, and then they will ban them from the community. They will slaughter a billy goat and pour the blood on them and say, you have done a taboo, leave the community. They frown upon such things. That is Islam. When some of us were young, fathers built houses for their children. And when you grow up and you are mature, they give you your farm and then they build for you. We call this thing headgears chimu. Chimu means tie your hair. Then we have shata, that is this veil. We wore that before Islam came. And when you come to North, when we are, this our local dance, when we are dancing, women have their line, men also have their line. That is Sharia. Simple as that. And when you come to Christianity, when you go to the Old Testament, they offer drink offering, food offering, livestock offering, everything. And we do the same thing. That is it. So they just copied our tradition, took the spirituality, the practicality out of it, and brought us the theory that we should read this and raise our hands and pray. We'll get what we want. So you pray and you won't get anything. So when they created Christianity and saw that there was enormous wealth in creating religion, they sent a Catholic nun who went to Arabia, settled there, changed her name into Khadija. Khadija is not from Saudi Arabia. The prophet
Muhammad's wife. Khadija, who helped the husband to identify the angel of God.
That was why she was quick to accept Islam. Khadija was sent by Romans. She was a Catholic nun, and they sent her there. They sponsored her. That's why they said she was rich, and she was a businesswoman. She stayed there, learned their language, learned everything, their culture, tradition, changed her name, and she became one of them. And a lot of men came and proposed to Khadija, and she rejected them. They told her that she should look for a young guy who has valor and who is someone adorable and righteous, so that they will make him a prophet. So recently, one of them said that there will never be another Messiah unless they create him. Just white people, they can do things that you can never imagine.
And what can we do?
What we can, you see, they saw that our power is our brains. So they said they should damage our brains. That is why they caught the children, sent them to the mission houses, taught them only the Bible, and they grew up. So when they grew up, they don't know what is management, they don't know what is economics, they don't know what is their history, they don't know who is God. We don't. When they say God, we don't know who actually is God.
Continue from Khadija, please.
You go. So Khadija went there, stayed there, and chose that guy. He was not even called Muhammad because there was no Muhammad prior to the Quranic Islam. Muhammad is not an Arabian name. Any Malam who comes here asks them, was somebody called Muhammad before Prophet Muhammad? Muhammad is an African name, so we have different versions. When it comes to Gunja, we have Mamadu, Mahmuda, Mahmudu, Mahami, a lot, Ahmed, Ahmadu. It is African name, so they gave him that name. Muhammad was made to come to Egypt and study. And after he was initiated to become a Christ, he was given the name Al-Amin. Means the trustworthy.
Nana ni din da the science obenya Al-Amin.
I don't know.
But none of Muhammad.
We are still digging.
Hey.
That name Amun was the Amin. So Al-Amin is a name of a god.
Hey.
So Khadija linked up to the Romans, and who went and told Muhammad's uncle that little that young boy you are moving with, you travel to Syria or wherever, he's a prophet, so take him home. If not, when this boy discovered, they will kill him. It was a Catholic monk. We call them fathers. The nuns, we call them sisters in Ghana here. But the real name is Catholic nun, that's the females, and the Catholic monks. It was the Catholic monk who went from Rome. They traced them up, and he just approached and say, hey, my brother, I can see that you're working with a very great person.
No, Munim Dada. Khadija, my informations.
And these same people came and told her Muhammad is the greatest person to ever walk the face of this earth. He was a warrior, he was this, he was that. No, he lied to us to throw our adultery away, to come and worship idolatry.
Idolatry in disguise.
In disguise. So he killed a lot of people, said Allah commanded him to kill them because they were worshiping idols. And finally coerced them to come and worship an idol. And he said all the previous prophets were Muslims and they worship Allah. When you go to the Bible, all the prophets were priests. We don't have anything called prophets. When you go to Genesis 8, verse 7 to 9, Noah burnt an offering on an altar after they went out of the ark. And when the aroma entered Yahweh, he was pleased and said, I won't destroy the world again. Which creator will do this? The creator of this universe is asking for animal sacrifice. All the animals in the house, domestic animals, and in the wild, in the sea, he created them. What is he looking for them for? When you go to the Quran, a lot of places offer sacrifices. And when you want to slaughter, you must recite the dua in Arabic language. After that, they will come and tell us that Allah, who is the creator, understands every language. So, Bismillah, that means in the name of Allah. Allahu Akbar. Allah is great. In the name of Allah, the greatest, that I slaughter this sacrificial lamb. So, Allahumma min walika from my heart. Why don't you say this thing in English if you are an Englishman? Why don't you say this thing in Twi? Like, Owurade Nyankopɔn akɛseɛ wudi mu nti na me eku aboa we. Efiri makomo me fitaa. When you say that, there's nobody called Owurade. In Gonja, we call him Abore. When you say Abore, there's nobody called Abore. If you say God, it is in your name that there's nobody called God. So what shall go? It's like here, African idolatry. If you don't mention, do you have a God in this any idol in this community, the name. Let's say Bochorwa. If you don't mention Bochorwa's name, Bochorwa can come and take. And they said before you become a Muslim, you say La ilaha illallah. It means there's no God except Allah. If you are saying it in Arabic, say it in Arabic. When you are saying it in English, say everything in English. So there's no God except God. What's the meaning of this? Onyami bi eni ho, just onyami. And for centuries, no single Muslim on the African continent, scholar, has been able to
ask
discover
that
this,
question.
because they say, catch them young and they shall be yours forever. So the little children who are going to the Khartoum, I was going. I nearly completed the Quran. Then I went to school. Then later, because of my research, I discovered that no, there's something wrong. And not just the research alone. I look at the lives of my people, and I ask a lot of questions. I say, what kind of Allah that we are worshiping from childhood to our old age? Then the person will be so impoverished. His only asset is his small hat, jalabia, and the small trouser with his cassava legs inside it. We can't build for our children. We can't take care of our wives. We can't take care of our children. So they are stealing, they are armed robbers. Others are fornicating, teenage pregnancy, and the Zongo community is filled, broken homes, everything. What kind of Allah are we worshiping? There is something wrong that we need to figure out, and that is the secret. So they created Islam, Romans. They went. So after they created Islam, they used the black people to create the Islam, and they have to conquer that land. So they went and settled there, studied their language, stayed there for a long time, and they were eliminating the black people gradually. The same thing they did in Argentina. You see, the Argentina national team, there's no black amongst them. They secretly murdered all the black people. Because the South Americans are all black people. Even the whole of America, North America, we're black people. They murdered about 100 million blacks during that time, the Native Americans, and took over that continent. Australia, the same thing. Every land on this, every country, every town was established by black people.
Based on your research, have you come across anything that you think Africans should try? Africans should start doing to liberate itself?
We have a lot, but the problem is we have been conditioned, we call it mental slavery. We have been mentally engineered to self-destruction. So Africa is heading towards an apocalypse, but we don't know. So we need to undo the mental engineering. But who is to do it? Because they have been murdering our prophets. Anytime a prophet rises up to move black people out of their doldrums, they can't murder him. So they shut down Martin Luther King, Marcus Garvey, Steve Biko, Patrice Lumumba. They murdered all of them. And when Bob Marley sang a song, Africa Unite for the benefit of your children, it was a very big statement the guy made. Because if Africans unite and form one country, all our military will come under one command. There's no country that can fight us. But this secret, this common sense has eluded us because they damage our brains with their religion, with the Quran and the Bible. These things you can use to develop your country, the same thing you can use to destroy people. They use them to develop their country because when you go to Europe, if you don't take your child to school, they arrest you. In the Quran, it says, looking for knowledge is compulsory for believer man and woman. And the Bible says, for the lack of knowledge, my people perish. So they made school free and compulsory, and today they are gone. The same books they came and told us, education is haram. So when you come to my community, the Malams don't. There's no single Malam or pastor who is preaching that take your children to school, take your children to school. No. The pastor will tell you, bring all your woes. Jesus will solve them. How is Jesus going to solve our problem when we don't manufacture even a pin in this country? Everything is important. If Jesus is the creator, this is not how he created the world. This is not heaven. In their heaven, they say when you think it happens, but here you must look for it. So we are supposed to look for knowledge, use the knowledge to work and get money and solve our problems. But he said, no, bring it. Jesus will do. So the pastor has succeeded in killing your critical thinking, because if you have a problem, you're supposed to think critically and find a cause. The Malam will cut it short. Education is haram. When you don't acquire knowledge, you lose logical reasoning. So when you speak common sense to Muslims, they get angry, because we don't think logically anymore, because somebody is living in a thatched building. You tell the person to marry more wives and give birth to more children, because the prophet said he wants a larger woman on the day of judgment. That person might even be staying in the parents' house. He has not been able to build his own apartment, but he said he should give, you see. Then anybody who is a Christian or Muslim who says, okay, Jesus will solve my problem, I'll go to school, or I'm a Muslim, education is haram, I'll go. When we go, they will kill us with their theological curriculum. They kill our creativity and innovativeness with their theoretical curriculum. So we go to school to learn the parts of a grasshopper on a blackboard. Meanwhile, a grasshopper is not in a blackboard.
It's in the bush.
Yes. How many of us are going to be anthropologists? It's not all of us. If a child goes to school today and the child starts learning how to make a car, by basic 6, basic 9, the child could invent something. But they say they will never allow us practice in our educational system.
That one thing, our time is almost.
Yes.
So that one thing, everybody that is watching us should start telling the children or doing.
Let's go back to our root. You see, black people, we don't read anymore because they damage your brain. Let's read. Let's look for knowledge. And let's think critically. Let's go back to our roots. They've succeeded in replacing all our household utensils and cookware with theirs. Where's Ahinana Yenum? They brought their fridges, so today we are so impoverished that we can't even buy their brand new goods unless outmoded commodities. So their road and wedding cars are killing us. And when 1,700 people die in this country within 6 months, Christians will go to the Independence Square to pray. Meanwhile, 90% of all commercial vehicles in this country are road and wedding. 99% of passengers in this country don't wear seatbelts on commercial vehicles. And if people are dying, you are going to pray. So we are praying over human-created catastrophes. That is not religion. That is stupidity. Excuse me, my language. The Muslim will say it is Allah who has ordained it. So they don't even care. In Switzerland, the whole year, 3 accidents, nobody died. Because 9 years after manufacturing, you must throw the car away. Because they will not wait for the tire to burst for people to die before they throw it out. They change it. They will not wait for brake to fail and what. No, throw it away. We don't do that.
Now, Israel here from Boko are taxi na Benz nobody taxi.
Meanwhile, Pasavi is making cars. Why is it that our government will not build a very big factory and attach you with a very big university so that he will recruit all the engineering students who complete every year, don't have jobs. They will come there and he will teach them how to make cars. Then so we just count money. You can't see car koto here, ebe 2 years. Now, ye di here we are. Now, mala baka chere say you be call heaven. It is on TV.
Hey!
I'm not giving it to them.
Hey! And when I saw you coming, I am like, oh, thank you, God. This one will be nice.
So what we're supposed to do now is close all churches and mosques. Let's ban the weaving of foreign hairs on our hairs.
Huh?
Yes, that is what Pogigame did. If white hair costs 20 Ghana cedis, 1 million women times 20, that man has left this country.
But we can create the wigs here.
No, you have your own head there. Do you know why we are shaving our hairs? Look, Arabians, men and women don't shave their hairs. Chinese don't shave their hairs. Europeans don't shave their hairs. Indians don't shave their hairs. Why is that? It's all Africans. We are still in slavery. The black women's hairs are the most romantic on earth.
Hey! Our time is due. Give us your numbers and your social media handles. Give us your numbers and your social media handles.
Okay. On social media, I am SEIDU Abdul Latif hyphen. But when you type, you get more people. So type Prodi for real. PRODDY. 4 REAL. The 4 is numeral, it's not a letter. When you type, you get pages. So go and choose the option, which is people. When you tap on people, I'm the only person who will come. Tap on it, send me a friendship request. And scroll down my profile. Read only my handwritten articles and my video. Watch them. Only my handwritten. My number is 0545075470.
Take your time and mention the number.
0545 075470. And the border number is 0503 686357. 0503 686357. I have a lot. This is just the tip of the iceberg.
I love you, brother.
If only Mama Grace will give me more time.
I have given you 10 slots already. 10 slots. I just love him.
When I met, you know what pushed me here? Anytime I watch your videos, at the closing and you ask your panelists, what is the solution of the solution to the problem of Ghana? Then most of them fumble. They don't know exactly what's the problem. The problem of Africa or black people is that we don't know our problem.
He will come back again. Thank you so much, brother. Love you. Much love. We love you like I love you. I love you. Mohammed Sise, I hope you are there. This is another one in DJ Khaled's voice. Thank you so much for watching Revelations. Same time next week. Revelations, or same time tomorrow. Revelations will come your way with another episode. Chale, follow him for more, informations. Or at the end, he's on point. He's just in line. I pray we get more people. Now, fear is leaving people, and people are coming out. It tells Emreno Ayebe, African is on its way to liberate itself. Na nyanko pon trade ampon. Ebe bwana mi pese mi bisa ne senti ye bon pai na ye mfre nyame ben, but ye de ne beba biom na yetimi ebisa ne nsem bebre. Thank you so much.